So, audio time. Jeez, this is making me lag. Jesus, this server is laggy. It's because it's recording audio. Alright, let's switch servers because that was awful. Alright, rambling. Man, I can constantly think of stuff to say on my own, but the second I try to record it, I immediately run out of stuff to say. It's weird. But, so, what am I doing? So yeah, I was gonna make some more videos off of tf2 at some point. I've just gotten lazy on it, and I don't know, I want to play other games more. I've been playing this far too much recently, and thus haven't really taken the time to do anything else. I've got a lot of honestly some kind of more fun games I want to play. I need to get back to Deep Rock. I'm super lazy at it since I have to essentially start from zero again. Jeez, my audio is loud. Man. Alright, I love random crits. Alright. So, yeah, what was I saying? Alright. So today I don't know, I really didn't do much. Nice, I just hit like 4 people. Man. Ah, come on, and I had the Conqueror too. Oh man. So yeah, I noticed that no one liked that Toho video, which, I mean, there's not as much demand for like unimpressive Toho 10 things. Like Toho is in huge demand, and what there is usually for, real impressive feats or like community made stuff rather than, you know, a playthrough of a, how would that even be? 13 years would be 2020, so it'd have to be my gosh, 17 years old by now, that's quite a long time ago. Um, yeah, this is causing me to lag too. Um, yeah, I need to come up with more creative video ideas because so far I've just been doing a lot of the same old like TF2 stuff, which man, that's yesterday. I saw a guy with the Machina who was intentionally going for body shots. But honestly, the weapon that I hate the most in this game, in terms of body shots, is the Sydney Sleeper. Like, it's not a good weapon. It's objectively the worst rifle by a mile and a half. Like, I'd put the Machina. Like, the Machina is. Some people think it's great. Some people think it's pointless. I think it's somewhere in between the two. So it's just bad. But like the the whatever you call it, the Sydney Sleeper is just objectively the worst gun in there in all of Sniper's arsenal. It I mean it hardly does any damage. It doesn't crit on headshot, which just defeats the entire purpose. The thing is, it still does mini crits, but I think everyone just reads that it doesn't do headshots and then assumes, oh, I got a body shot now. But the only time it's applicable is for body shotting light classes. So like you could, because it is the base damage of a sniper rifle. Still, it just doesn't do the same crit damage. So if you hard scope, fully charge in, you can body shot. medics, engineers, scouts, snipers, and spies. But yeah, all of those cases, I mean, you can just do that with a regular sniper rifle. One thing that makes it annoying for body shotters even is that it since it has a 25% faster charge speed, it makes it easier to just hard scope in and body shot people, which is useless for any practical application because I mean the second you're not fighting a light class, you're just screwed. Like and headshot body shotting in general, just for new players or like very opportunistic moments, like where you see a guy running by and it's either you miss the shot or you body shot him. Like that's a good case of when a body shot. But the thing I hate about the Sydney Sleeper is how it's just super ideal for sniper duels where you can get essentially just free faster charge speed and just body shot other players, which I mean it's a sniper duel. The other sniper is always going to be just standing still. So it seems very just like very low skill to not even be able to hit a still target. It's to the point where you have to body shot it every time. And it's not something I see very often, but I occasionally see it on 2 for servers. And that's what I hate about it is it's such a niche case of fighting enemy snipers, but you're too bad to hit them in the head, like, but you can still hit them in the body, which instead of just getting better, you're gonna use this trashy weapon that serves no purpose other than body shotting enemy snipers. Seems super lazy to me, to be honest, and low skill. But all right, man. The enemy team's like all newer players. I mean, there's a couple of people with the purple badges. So what are those called again? The purple is so it's like freelance, merc, or it goes freelance. I'm just trying to go for melees. That did not work. Um, uh, mm, so yeah, I overall like TF2. I don't know the community is not as fun as kind of what you picture. And obviously, when you kind of just see the outside of it, of course, it's going to be rose tinted glasses and all that. But like, I think I was kind of let down by like a lot of them just seem like the Gen Z type that screams about like stuff and random things and thinks it's funny rather than like kind of the old TF2 player base, which was much more unique and like exclusive to TF2. Yep. I just wasted a conk. That was not smart. It's weird how you get it counts if you get assists with the Dragon's Fury for your contracts because I don't bother with the contracts. I don't like the Dragon's Fury personally. It's just because I'm not good at it. But but yeah, so I think it's because if like in the case of you getting an assist and they want you to count for your contract, I always find it funny how like I'll just randomly get an assist on an enemy that someone's hit with the Dragon's Fury and it counts towards my contract. I don't know. I don't know. I don't necessarily like the idea of the contracts, but I think they're an okay concept. I don't bother doing them because I don't want to pay for the paid ones, and I don't really care about pyro and whatnot, so I don't really feel any need to bother with the free ones. Is there anything else I've been able to think of? I don't know. Um, yeah, so there's a sniper over there. Gotta heal. Alright, that guy's on my team. Yeah, so I've been trying to learn Japanese a bit. Uh, I don't know, that always it's fun, but it never feels like you're making any progress. And I think a lot of it is just you suck at it until you don't type situation. I mean, I guess you could make that argument for literally everything ever, but it's like because I can feel the progress, it's just super slow. I don't know if I'll ever use it. Man, I don't know. I hear these psychos though, like on like YouTube and whatnot, who are like, "Oh, you could pass this in 3 months. You should be learning 10 kanji a day." And it's like, how? I seriously cannot comprehend how anyone learns that much. Like, and I mean, because the thing is, I don't study too much. Like, I can do five in maybe an hour, learn five new words in a couple of hours, like an hour and a half maybe. So I mean, I guess if you wanted to go for 10 a day, you just study in your free time a bit. So it's not unrealistic, I wouldn't say, but it does feel a little bit like some of these people just take it very seriously, and I mean, I guess to an extent, taking that seriously is obviously if you're trying to actually learn it. So, but it's like I didn't really realize how much time I spent on it until after I've just kind of counted it sometimes, and it's like, how do people make that much progress? I don't know. I do not have a talent for learning things like that. Oh man. Mm. Yeah, I got this black box as a gift from. Oh, he's got crits. I'm dead. Except I'm not dead actually. I don't know. I think I'm terrible at managing my rockets, and I also, when trying to peek, I sometimes like accidentally hit myself on the wall. And I hit myself, but shoot my rocket on the wall, which is always annoying. So I gotta get better at aiming. I think using the black box, and I think that's a better idea because having the only three rockets kind of gets me used to managing them a little bit better. So whenever I go back to using the regular one, it's gonna be like a huge upgrade. I don't know. The health on shot isn't really all that great. I think it's definitely useful, and it depends a lot on how good you are at soldier. And seeing as I am not good at soldier, that's why I'm not the greatest with it. But I kind of like it. I mean, it amounts to probably like 20 or 30 health for life, something like that. Basically, not that much. But on the other hand, though, I think it benefits you and teaching you to get better. I think if you know how to play soldier properly, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Like I know generally soldier like aim at the feet, how to rocket jump, and that also your how close you are to the enemy affects the fall off. So theoretically you always want to be as close as possible and not be firing from long away, which I do bad at. But I don't know. I don't know how some of these soldiers do it. I should probably like watch like competent soldiers play and then just copy what they do. I'm gonna try using the shotgun again because sometimes I don't know. Sometimes I think I could need the extra ammo. And man, I like the gunboats, but they're definitely a bit of a problem. Uh, in terms of just being, not a crutch. They're not a crutch necessarily, but they kind of are. I would say they changed the gameplay enough to not be a crutch. Yeah, that is the thing I would wonder is are the gunboats a crutch? Because on one hand, I mean, you're trading off a shotgun or a banner, some super useful weapon in exchange for being able mobility, which I guess is very much a weapon alternative. But on the other hand, what I was thinking was, I mean, if it's essentially just allowing you to move more at the cost of something major like that, I'd almost see it as a bit of a crutch weapon in a way, but I'd have to say it's not. Soldier's been fun. He was probably the class I was the least eager to play, but enjoyed him. I mainly just play a sniper though. I'm pretty decent. Like it depends a lot on the map for me. Like I'm very good at maps that sniper is good at and mid on ones he's not. Like it also really depends on the time and the team. Like as uh, like sniper does really well in stagnant because if your team's steamrolling, there's no one for you to shoot. If your team is getting steamrolled, you're gonna be dead because people are just gonna come after you every time. And that's kind of but mercenary grade pants. Yeah, I think the amount of monetization in this game, I didn't like I knew this game was monetized, but I didn't realize kind of just how much it was. I don't know. I think being required to oh, if I hit that, that would have been super cool. That's a spy, I think, right? Or is I don't know. Anyways, he's dead. Now, I was thinking that since I'm using the stock launcher, I would be in the habit of or I'd be better habit of managing my ammo, but instead I just start reloading after firing 3 shots instead of 4. It's like I learned where my ammo count is. The problem is I didn't learn how to manage it. I just got bad. Anyways, um, I don't know. I don't like the gunslinger too much. It's I unlocked it. I just don't play a lot of engineer since watching all your buildings just disappear like that is never fun. Like, okay, I'm liking the new using the regular rocket launcher over the black box. That extra shot definitely makes a big difference. Yeah, the weapon I wish they'd rework the most in terms of like a buff would be the Babyface's blaster because it's probably the single most fun weapon in the game. Or not the single most fun, but one of the single most fun weapons in the entire game, and its potential is wasted on due to that one like hit or lose boost on hit. I think that is one of the single dumbest balance changes that has ever existed. Like if you just took all the other downsides and upsides, it's perfectly balanced. Like it's good. And I mean, Scout really needs better scatterguns. I mean, he's got like one good one, just a stock scattergun, and then he's got like 2 mid ones of like the um like the I don't know, you say 2 mid ones, but he's got the soda popper and the force of nature, which aren't great. The backscatter, which is just worse than normal baby faces, which has been nerfed to the ground, and the shortstop, which is just worse than stock. I mean, yeah, I think Scout is the probably the weakest selection of primaries in the entire game. That or maybe Sniper. Like Sniper, yeah, Sniper's primaries are some of the single worst I've seen in a while. Like I got Ubered. Nice flanking. That's not good. Oop, and my Uber wore off right as I'm in the middle of the enemy. Oop, that's not good, but there's a health pack. There's a health pack. Alright. Man. Oh, man, I'm dead. I saw a spy. Yeah. I never played Grounded past the one update. Like, they didn't add the infected brood mother. I never played that, but man, I like that game. I played that since, like, from launch. Not launch. I pre-launched. I was thinking launches in um like early access launch. I mean, but like, yeah, I mean, I got it on early access like within I think like the week or maybe the week after it became available, and I played it all throughout the beta and stuff. I remember when there's a weapon called the Mint Mallet in there. It's like like a tic tac on a stick, and it's like just crazy damage. But they nerfed it so hard. But I remember in the original one, you could in like the original beta, you could just destroy anything, and that was before they balanced a lot of the enemies. So you would stun every enemy on hit, and then like just tear through them in a couple. It was really fun. I uh I kind of like what happened to Grounded in the end mostly, but I don't know. I think it was kind of weak at times. I think that the developers I think they were okay, but they changed a lot of elements of it to make it kind of RPG-like in a sense, which wasn't necessarily a bad thing. But for example, like the weaknesses, I think on one hand the weaknesses were fun, but on the other hand they made the game really grindy. Because now instead of, getting good at a single weapon and just having fun with that and kind of learning how to beat that, you have to carry all these extra weapons with you for all the different like qualities there are, because you have to have your mint one for this area, you have to have your salt one for this area. And then the thing they did that I really didn't like was they made quartzite limited. It used to be just that quartzite would respawn, and I mean I get how it's a little bit broken because, and in a way it also made the game kind of grindy because you had to go through there. But the problem was that after they changed that, if you used all your stuff, you had to slowly go through like just backtracking areas where like certain bugs spawn and just farm them in mass, which was really not fun to fight, to do all those fights just to get one level up on your weapon. And I think that was kind of a bad idea. Like I could see maybe making like the final tiers, like if you could just farm Supreme Quartzite. I get why that's broken, but it was Supreme, right? It was the final tier. But having to sit there and fight larvae for like 5 hours because of that, or having to travel all the way across the map to beat up some Black Ox beetles every couple of days was never fun. The thing that I did wrong in my playthrough of Grounded was I didn't build enough zip lines. Like my original playthrough, I just walked everywhere, which is back in early access, like pre-zip line area. And then when I played again for like the actual game, I didn't use like I used an air shot, nice. Um uh so whenever I was playing, oh man, I got most points. That's by one. I'm gonna lose that though. But whenever I was playing Grounded, I built like one zip line to the upper yard and then one to like a different part of the upper yard. But other than that, I just got lazy and never bothered to build the rest of my zip lines, which was not fun to say the least. Because then I would travel so much, and then I got lazy, never got around to it. But the amount of time I spent traveling from area to area was significantly greater. It reminds me of than if I just built the zip lines to begin with. Reminds me of back when I played Pokemon Sun and Moon for the first time. I was stuck on I didn't have any sense of strategy, and I was stuck on the totem Pokemon for the final island. And I instead of realizing that I could just save before the boss fight, I instead would go and completely I would say it was right before like the one traveling section, but I also didn't realize repellents were a thing. So I'd be having random encounters every like 30 seconds. I didn't realize you couldn't save in that area. I didn't realize you could save just it didn't say let you save throughout the entire like walking section. Like your last point you could save was before the entrance. Or no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. Never mind. That's false memory. But basically what I kept doing wrong was I would save right outside of the thing, and then I would die because I was doing really bad, and then I'd rerun the entire thing. Of course, I'd be losing money every time. I'd have to restart all that. It took me, it'd take me an hour to get there, and I'd lose. And eventually, what I did was I had one my starter Pokemon who was a Dark type, and the final like boss Pokemon there was like a dragon fighting. So he did significant damage to Dark types, which was already a bad idea. And he had one dragon type move, but it was like enrage or something. It made him get confused and accidentally hit himself. So what would happen is my only Pokemon that could deal damage to this guy would die every like 2 turns. So I just caught a bunch of random Pokemon, leveled them up like I don't even think I bothered to level them up, and then I just bought a load of revives and would essentially just use another Pokemon as my human shield to get like two more 2 more hits in on the boss, and then he would go down. I would since the one move that my dark type had was a dragon type move, it was like super effective against the totem Pokemon, and that's why I used it. But but I'm dead. But what was I saying? So then I would revive, like I'd throw out some random Pokemon. I would use its one turn to revive them, maybe two if I was lucky, and then that Pokemon would die. Send out my starter again, and I just repeat that for my entire team, and just then spam like full restores and whatnot. And eventually, I won. When that was really bad strategy there. Then we played Pokemon Sun and Moon recently. It was a lot of fun, to be honest. I really liked that game. It was huge for me back when I was younger, and I really got into it this time around. I had a full team. I like farmed out like not farmed out. Like I didn't go too far because like I wanted to, but the thing is they actually shut down the servers for that game in April, so I couldn't do the online play anymore. Which I'd started playing it in May again, so it was like less than a month, and I would have gotten to replay the game fully like I wanted to. But what was I saying? Okay, so but yeah, like I had like my own team of like Pokemon I specifically wanted. Like I had a Metagross, a Gyarados, what was the other two? I had it was Dragon type. Oh yeah, a Garchomp and a my gosh, why am I so dumb today? Um, Metagross, Gyarados, Garchomp, and what was the last one? Because I had four that I consistently used. It was it a Fairy type, a Ghost type, Dark type? I don't remember. Anyways, but I had four Pokemon I consistently used, and the problem was that after I beat the game, I wanted to replay it, and you only have one save per thing, so I deleted my save. But then after that point, I kind of got out of it, so I never ended up replaying it. So I just deleted my save of like all my Pokemon I really liked. Luckily, it was my second copy of the game, so I had my original copy from when I was like way younger, still, which that's really nice. Yeah, I haven't played any of the other Pokemon games really. Like I played Omega Ruby like a little bit, but I mean a little bit. Um, I don't know. One of these days I might get around to playing like Diamond and Pearl and then Black and White, but that's it. I mean, it's definitely a series I'm kind of out of the age demographic for a little bit. Not that that would really stop me. Yeah, like I get to an extent being out of the age demographic of something and still liking it. Like as I said, like I mean I was getting into playing some of the Pokemon games again. That's definitely marketed towards younger kids, and I get stuff like that. The thing that I don't get is high schoolers that like children cartoons. Not just high schoolers. I see adults like like the one about the dog. I don't remember what it is, but like there's so many. I see adults who are crazy about that, and I get if you have kids, but I mean there's adults who have no children who seem to like that, and that just weirds me out. Like I think there's kind of a limit of like enjoying something for younger, even if it's meant for younger audiences, and just kind of being a bit weird. And I think that's the line for me right there. Not that it matters what I think ultimately. 19 eliminations, not bad. Yay, now we get to be on defense. I'd never use my shotgun there at all. I need to switch that off. Let's just put on the gunboats. The gunboats aren't a crutch. A crunch. They're not a crutch, I have decided. So I think the in Deep Rock, I think one thing that I really want to see in the next updates is new perks. Like I've been a fan of Deep Rock for years now, but the perks have been consistent. There's like four viable ones, three really, but I mean there's what is there? Oh, so there's Iron Will, which is basically it's the best perk in the game. Like unless you are beyond confident in your abilities, and I mean like not like confident in your abilities. I mean like think you like you're the type who can solo has 5 missions in under like 2 minutes and not a point extraction or egg hunt one either. Like a something in just crazy like that. Unless you're that good, you should use it. And yeah, why do they always seem to get crit rockets right when the spawn doors open? Yeah, Ubered heavy. I'm dead. Actually, I'm not, but I'm going to be. Oh, and there's an Ubered soldier. How many medics do these guys have? Oh, and brass piece heavy. I'm dead. Um, what was I saying? Okay, so um, what? Oh man, I lose my train of thought so easily now for some reason. Anyways, and I got crit rocketed. Um, as I was saying though, then there's field medic, which is only viable if you have teammates, but it's another good perk. There's dash, which is the single best perk in the game, by far. I think I mean it's the one that I use on every character except scout. It's probably the most valuable of every perk. I use it. So I recommend that one. And then there's heightened senses, which is really only good on select maps or as scout. I mean, I see an argument of why heightened senses can be useful, especially if you're solo, and especially if you're not using Iron Will. But I think it's like in my eyes, heightened senses is the perk used by like real competent players who don't feel like they need Iron Will. That's basically it. Uh, and but yeah, the thing I was saying about Deep Rock is I think that I like the perks that are viable, and I think if they rework perks, I'm worried that they'll nerf something, and that's very much what I think shouldn't happen. I think the game's perks, all the ones that are viable for very good reason and should not be changed at all. The problem I have is I think basically every perk is useless. Like the Beastmaster is annoying, really. I mean, I accidentally shoot Steve, I think, more than I get any assistance from him. Plus, it means dropping one of the other much more viable perks, and not just Beastmaster. Like Berserker is good, but it's on such a like long cooldown that I just never get any value out of it. Um, then and yeah, once again, it's just not worth replacing one of the much better perks in the game. I got a rocket jumped into a backstep. That's impressive. But what was I saying? Mm, sorry, I'm not that deaf. I'm just thinking of most stuff. But man, we're getting spawn camped. Anyways, but the of the other perks, I mean, they're all just real. Like same thing with the passive perks. I mean, there's like vampire, which is just objectively good, and you should basically using it all the time, especially as driller. But I mean, a lot of classes, and then I always run resupplier, resupplier, vampire, and what was the last one I always use? And born ready. Of course, born like so you can drop vampire sometimes, especially if you're not using Iron Will, and you can drop born ready if you're not if you're playing with stuff that works on like overheat mechanics or whatnot. But I'd say generally speaking, like those are basically the main perks you should use. Like it's a bug thing is also pretty good. It makes getting loot bugs go from like a waste of ammo to actually a real viable way to get resources. And whatnot. So I think there's some useful perks, but things like second wind, you would have to know that you have it equipped and purposely go out of your way to use it because you will never encounter a single second where it comes in naturally. I think it is one of the my voice. I think uh, I think second wind is one of the objectively worst perks in the entire game. What else was there? I don't know. There's like elemental insulation, which is maybe like theoretically viable on two maps and not even particularly useful in reality. Then there was like I mean, there's just a lot of other ones. Like I think there was one that makes you throw your flares farther, which I mean, cool, but not ever worth it. Because most of the time you're comfortable with kind of where you're throwing your flares at anyways, and you can just aim them. I mean, the little bit of difference it'll make is not worth it. Alright, and see, I think the next update they need to rework some, like just completely remove some of the objectively useless ones like second win, and I don't think that anything should be nerfed. I just think that they need to just rework some perks completely and then just buff others. And that's my thought on Deep Rock Galactic perks. So that was my rant. Stop recording.